Wholeheartedly, you have to believe in yourself, and not just that, but you have to put the work behind it. And if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
You're listening to HBCU in Entertainment, where diversity, equity, and inclusion refine the future of entertainment. I'm your co-host, Amira Johnson, Alumni and Campus Relations Coordinator at ECOP, and welcome back to another episode. In this episode, we're featuring one of our amazing alumni and executive assistant to the VP of Social Media at Disney's National Geographic, Hannah Powell. Born in Okinawa, Japan, and raised in both Las Vegas, Nevada, and Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Hannah is passionate about storytelling, culture, and creating meaningful media experiences. She earned her BS in Strategic Communication from Morgan State University in May 2023. And her mission is to use her creativity and communication skills to inspire, connect, and amplify voices, believing that everyone has a God-given gift meant to uplift and impact others. I can't wait for you to hear more about her journey. With that being said, let's dive into today's conversation. Hi, Hannah. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, really excited to have you on the podcast and just to talk more to you about your career journey so far and just for our ECOP community to get to know you more. Would love if you could just introduce yourself and tell us how you came to where you are today.
Sure. Well, hello. My name is Hannah Powell, born in Okinawa, Japan, raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, and PG County, Maryland. I went to Morgan State University, graduated with a bachelor's in strategic and communication, and I currently work at National Geographic as the executive assistant to the vice president of social.
Amazing. Amazing. Love it. So many interesting things to talk to you about. You mentioned a lot of things already, attending Morgan State University, also being born in Japan. So, really excited just to talk to you about all the things. Let's talk about first just where you started. So, your internship. So, you interned at Warner Brothers Universal Music Group, and you recently accepted a full-time role at Disney's National Geographic as the executive assistant to the VP of social media. Could you just maybe walk us through that journey and how your internships and then that transition to being a full-time employee all came about?
Yes, and I'll actually even go way back because I feel like it will make sense to lead up to that. So when I went to Morgan State, I was originally an electrical engineering student. And then COVID hit within around my 1.5 year mark. And during COVID, I feel like everyone had time to be by themselves. And that comes with having a lot of time to do introspection. And so I noticed that, like, ooh, I was going to physics. And I was like, I could do this, but why am I here? I'm not really that happy. And so I used to post a lot on Instagram, and I met another Morganite, and he was interning at Sony Music. And he's originally from Nigeria. So whenever his manager would send him some of the artist's music, he always had like really short feedback. So him knowing that I loved music because I used to talk about it on my socials, he would send me that music and I would give him feedback. And whenever he sent that to his manager, he used to be his like manager used to be like, wow, like that's really good. How did you know this? How did you know that? Like being able to connect the artist with their inspiration by hearing certain tones and certain riffs and things like that. And he was like, yo, Hannah, like you should consider being a strategic communication major here at Morgan. And so when he told me that, I had no idea what that was. I did some digging, did some research, and I still didn't even know what to tell my parents. But I seen the different opportunities that they had with different internships, and I was like, "Yo, if I do this, then I have to go all in once I start, since it's already about 2 years within my degree." So I ended up making that switch during COVID, and I got back to school my junior year and went all in. I started off doing an internship with the men's basketball team, doing their social, and then I had my first internship during the summertime my junior year at Johns Hopkins School of Nursing, working with their alumni and development program. And then after that, I was a I've done so many random things I felt like at college, but I was the sports engagement planner for the CAB Campus Activity Board. And we also, not only did I help in sports, but also creating the roster and artists list and making sure that they were good for like the homecoming concert. So we ended up having this event with Def Jam doing karaoke. And afterwards, after the event, I stayed after and I connected with the people that came to represent Def Jam, which was actually Route Runner Management in Baltimore. And they're a street team of Def Jam. And so after that, they ended up adding me on calls with artists, and I put that on my resume as being like an A&R, because technically that's what it is. And I think that's what definitely ended up leading me into getting my internship as the marketing intern at Def Jam at Universal Music Group. And I got that. And what's really amazing about HBCU in LA is that they heard that this girl from an HBCU was coming to New York and she didn't have nowhere to stay. And someone reached out from HBCU in LA and they're like, hey, would you like to join our cohort? We're just starting our New York side, you know, because you guys are usually based in LA. And I was like, of course, I've heard so many great things and it's super competitive. And when I tell you, truly blessed to be able to join that cohort, meet Stacy, meet everyone that also had an internship that year. And it was definitely a life-changing experience because I believe that led me into getting my full-time position here in Nat Geo.
Wow. That was amazing. I love how you took us back all throughout the journey. It really is amazing when you think about it. I think the way that you just took advantage of as many opportunities as possible. I loved hearing sort of about your transition from engineering and then discovering this love of like music and sort of how to dive deeper into that to see where it could take you. So I think that's a great reminder too of any students who may be watching that fall into the same kind of situation at times where they're in this major, but then they realize, wait, but I also really like this, and I kind of feel like I'm passionate about it. So I love your journey. I love your story. Congratulations just on all those things, like just racking up that resume in college too. So really amazing, Hannah. That's awesome. Little follow-up question for you, since you did mention music. Do you have any favorite artists that have just stuck with you throughout your life and that inspire you?
Of course. So many. I guess it depends on what version of me I'm talking about, but I'll say on the top of my head, definitely Beyonce, right? I remember just being younger, listening. Actually, Destiny Child was my second CD. My first was Adele, so shout out to Adele. But
Yes.
my second CD was Destiny's Child, and I performed Lose My Breath for my fifth grade talent show. I didn't lose my breath for my second grade talent show. And I did Crazy in Love for my fifth grade talent show. Like everything was beat. And, and whenever I just see her perform, and I have yet to go to a concert, so cross fingers, I do very soon. But her aura, her work ethic, okay, the way that she presents herself, like amazing, breath control, like performance, like a true performer in my time, just autumn all around, just top tier lady, just so inspiring. So definitely Beyonce.
Yes, I love that answer. Couldn't agree more. Love it. So let's talk about, you did talk about it a little bit already, but was there a moment or something that particularly sparked your interest in entertainment and made you want to continue pursuing it? Do you have any moments that stand out to you specifically?
I feel like so since the age of 5, I've been in the gospel church choir, right? And I was raised in Las Vegas, which is close to Cali and the West Coast vibe. So it's always like, oh, you should do commercials and modeling. So I did a lot of that when I was younger. But as far as not being the talent and doing more of the business side, I'll say I did a short internship during my spring semester, my senior year, that I got to work with Michael B. Jordan, with Warner Brothers, Discovery, TNT, his QQ Legacy Classic basketball game. I got to work with particularly Bleacher Report and doing interviews. And I was just like, wow, I could do this. This is a thing. And then landing the Universal Music Group and not having a connect because I feel like a lot of people, they're like, oh, you can only like do that because you know someone. But if you have the work and you're passionate about it, you can do whatever you put your mind to. So I just feel like I was like, oh wait, I could do that. I could do this too. And I did it. And so I think just getting the taste of like someone giving you an opportunity, savoring that, and then taking that with you for other endeavors.
Love that. That's a great answer. I love that. So, unfortunately, in life, sometimes there are challenges and obstacles that come in our way throughout our journeys. So, were there any times that you remember where you faced any of those challenges or obstacles when trying to break into the industry?
Hmm. I'll say that so after my internship, people that are usually interns, if they like where they were at, they want to become a full time. So they just want to roll into that. And during this time, it was very difficult for any of the interns to get a full time position. And then on top of that, I never really thought about having to like save up money to like move to, if you're not already in that city where that entertainment industry is thriving or that company is, you have to have money to be able to move. And especially a place like New York is so expensive. And if you don't have the money, you'll live in a shoebox.
Yeah,
Safety. So,
right.
I didn't think about those different things. And I didn't get a full time role after my internship. And that was kind of discouraging. I still had that fire in me. But then a couple months later, I found out the VP I was working under, she ended up getting let go. And it was a whole change within Universal Music Group. I don't know if you remember the whole TikTok ban that happened with all the artists and things like that, that also penetrated within the actual organization itself. So it just wasn't a good time. And even Sony or Warner Music Warner Music, it just wasn't a good time to want to have a full-time role and then move and then possibly getting laid off. So I feel like that was a challenge because I felt like I was very, very passionate in that. But God works in mysterious ways, and I'm here where I am today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you have a very multicultural background. You spoke about it a little bit earlier, being born in Japan and raised in both Las Vegas and Maryland, PG County, right?
Yes.
So love it, love it. So could you talk to us more about how has your diverse upbringing shaped your just perspective in your role at National Geographic and also just life in general?
Yes, 1,000%. Definitely within like elementary school and middle school, I was one of probably 10 people in my class that were African American. The rest of my friends and people around me were not, majority Caucasian or Hispanic. And so, with that at such a young age, it just helped me. I love learning. It made me want to learn more about other people and for them to learn about me. And I seen the beauty of the differences in people. And it's helped me communicate with people as I got older in different workspaces, but also in just like fun societal, work or not work, but just fun environments. I would say that because I was raised in a multicultural environment, it's helped me to connect with people, be open to differences, and it makes me have a different palate. I feel like I'm the friend that's like, come on, let's try this sushi. Let's try this squid. Like, I'm always pushing people to try and get things out their box and like wanting to go to a different country and not just go on the resort, but go to where the tourists go. Like, you're here, like you need to go where not where the tourists go, where the locals go. Like, you need to go where they go. Like, that's the real excitement. That's the real I love that. And I just feel like it just helps me connect. And even though I don't know another language, which I really want to learn because I feel like that's a great way to connect with people, but people can feed off of your energy and see if you're genuine, they'll want to help you and things like that. So hopefully that answered your question, but I find it to be fun.
Absolutely, it did. I think it's just nice to know about different cultures and to experience different environments. It all, I think, just helps shape you, your life, your understanding, perspectives about society, and you get, I love how you described it, like having a different palette, just knowing about a bunch of different things. So I love it. I love it. So let's talk about Morgan State. So you're a graduate, yes. Would love to talk
Yes.
to you about your HBCU experience. How has it prepared you for life, where you are today in your career? And just were there any professors or any courses, student orgs that really helped shape where you are today?
Sure, I love my HBCU. Okay, we are the Bears. I think everyone that's gone to an HBCU knows the struggles and also the immense support and pride that you get from going, especially if you come from a multicultural background. Now you're amongst people with higher education, ambition, and not what all the media may show you about your own people. You're there and you're thriving and you feel that energy. So I definitely felt that at Morgan. When I was an electrical engineer major, there's this lady called Dr. Poindexter. She stayed up with me and my mom at like 1 a.m. to like get my courses arranged before the first day of school, and like her going out her way to make sure I had everything ready, like amazing. So shout out to the engineering department and also the journalism and communication department at Morgan. I feel like all the professors, they've always just been so supportive. And even if they didn't have the answer, they'll try to go find it. And super understanding, like they understand the everyday struggles that a student may have. And also they'll push you if they feel like you're trying to get over. And then it makes you realize how much stronger that you are than what you think you are. And so those are some of the highlights. And of course, like basketball games, the pride. I don't know if you heard Morgan State, they'd be like, oh, it's a party school. It kind of is. But it's all about balance. And I feel like I did really good with that. And I also lived in Towson my last 2 years. So I still had that diversity when I went home and then was on campus and had all the madness. And I also brought all that fun and cultural vibe to all my roomies that stayed in Towson. And yeah, I love my HBCU. Yes, recommend it.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Yeah, I think the experience is just unmatched. There's nothing else that could compare to it. And I think I like how you brought up like what you see in the media, I think is only like a tiny fraction of what it is to actually be on a campus of an HBCU. And it's just beautiful to see people all around you just on their journeys, trying to follow their dreams, their passions, and just the culture too. We can't forget about that, of course. So it's really just such a great experience. But love that answer. So, April is actually Black Women's History Month. And yes, I would love to ask you, who are some of the Black women that inspire you?
Mm, great question. Wow, there's so many. I mentioned Beyonce.
Yes.
Hmm. I've really been liking Nina Simone, listening to her music, the emotion in her voice, the poetry going into Maya Angelou. Being able to express yourself is so beautiful, and doing it so unapologetically is amazing. And that's something that we need to keep. I don't know if you've seen recently, but the new administration have been taking out some of our historical books, including Maya Angelou, and it's very sad, but it's important that we're within our homes we teach our children, our friends, our peers, so then that history is never gone, you know? So yes, Maya Angelou, Nina Simone, very fearless women. I would say, hmm, blanking out. I feel like there's an entrepreneur that I'm not saying right now. Oh no, I'm blanking out right now. There's so many women.
It's okay. It's a tough
I
question.
can.
Like when you have to think about it, it's like there's so many.
I'm like, there's so many of us. I mean,
Yeah.
I can say we're probably going to talk more about my job now, but my boss, the vice president of social is Tulani Andre, and Black woman that graduated from Spelman. When I tell you she's unapologetically herself and she's so supportive and she's lived a thousand lives, like I'm like, you did what? You did this and that, and just takes it by grace. Just amazing to see it up front and every day. So I definitely want to shout her out.
Love that. That's beautiful. Yeah, let's get into your job a little bit more. So, could you tell us what have been some of the skills that you've gained from your current position and what's been the most exciting thing about it?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Skills. As an executive assistant, the first to top of mind people think of is admin work. Yes, organizing, scheduling, and things like that. But something else that I've learned is being able to connect with different departments and being able to connect with different executives, especially executives that don't look like you and are men. And doing that in a way where they come back and they trust you. I've been able just to, make my presence known and also still be authentic to myself. I'm not code switching with my voice. I'm being myself, but I'm able to communicate genuinely with other people from all different ranks and roles and things like that. I've also a skill would be adjusting to time zones, which is something that's kind of random. But I just hosted this agency that wants to work with us in London, and having to schedule that and their different slang and all that different types of stuff and what's appropriate manners and things like that. That was something that's interesting. I love meeting new people, and I'm like, now I need to go to London. So I feel like that's something else that I've learned. And the most exciting has been my boss being able to invite me and also advocate for me to come to different events with her. So the first event I went with her was Howard. She spoke at Disney on the Yard. And that was a great experience just to see her in that mode of speaking to students with a panel of other great leaders within Disney. And then after that, there was a man that was like, hey, your assistant, you seem kind of cool. Would you like to speak in Atlanta at Spelman? And my boss was like, yeah, you should do it. So I spoke with her and another leader at Disney at Spelman. And so that was like my first panel, and that was amazing. I love being able to connect with my peers or people younger and help them make their dreams come true. So I really like appreciated that. And so really traveling, that's my favorite thing, is traveling and going to different events outside of the work office. I like to go.
Yeah, on the move.
Yes.
I love that. Amazing answer. And congrats on being able to speak on the panel and just to give that time back to connect with people and help them follow their dreams. Love that you mentioned that. So, another question about National Geographic. So, National Geographic covers a lot in the world. How do you want to impact the world in this role and beyond?
It's a great question. Yes. National Geographic is a very legacy type of brand. And I see it every day, meeting people that's been there for 20 years and also watching a premiere just last night of a documentary that Oklahoma City bombing. Definitely recommend you guys to watch it. But the extensive research and fact checking, things like that. I would say that the mark and something I want to take away from working here is staying true. Before you say anything, try to think about it and also be open or be aware of other people and their backgrounds and just knowing that there's beauty in people's differences. My biggest impact is within that geo. Hopefully just someone that they can come to when they need help, and also being able to give a authentic storytelling kind of visual to whatever project that they have. Because of my wide background with different people, want them to be able to be like, hey, we could come to her and she'll probably give a solid opinion on different projects. But that's what I would say. So even I'm coming up on a year in June, and there's just so many things I still don't know about Nat Geo and how I can be placed in it. But as an EA and seeing all the different departments, I'm still finding my way. But I would say those things for now.
Love it. Beautiful answer. So, would love to talk to you. You spoke about it earlier, but just more about ECOP and HBCU and New York. Were there any specific moments that impacted your journey? I know you mentioned that moment when you got the housing. So, moments like those, are there any others that you can think of that really helped you?
Yes. So I think it was weekly or biweekly. We used to have a company come to our housing building and speak to us. So I remember CAA came, and I thought that was just so different because agencies and things of that nature. our trips to somewhere. So Paramount, going to the Paramount building and getting to learn more about their structure and seeing different people that work there, connecting with them. I thought that was a lot of fun. And getting like little gifts. Like I believe that we got like this backpack, ended up giving it to like my little cousin. So it was just so cute. But mainly just the networking and genuine connecting. These people wanted to speak to us, and it was a very small group of us every time, just because that was just how many people were in the cohort in the building, and everybody showed up, asked questions, and I thought that was very, I love that. I love that every week. I'm like, who am I going to meet today? So it was really nice.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think ECOP, just HBCU in LA, HBCU in New York, they just do a great job of providing all those areas of opportunity. Just to be meeting people weekly, like you said, is really a privilege and a blessing. So I think it's amazing just hearing you talk about everything that you were able to gain and just the benefits of the program. I think is just a really beautiful thing. And I love hearing alum come on the podcast and just talk about how the program has impacted them. So thank you for sharing.
Yes,
So we
of course.
are, yes, so we are coming up on our last question. Would love to ask you, what advice would you give to students who are looking to break into the industry?
Some advice. Wholeheartedly, you have to believe in yourself, and not just that, but you have to put the work behind it. And if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If Just know that you could do anything you put your mind to, genuinely, and have people's doubts be the fuel to make you keep going, because everybody wonders how to do it until you do it, and they're like, oh, why I knew you were going to do it. No, 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 no. But just fall in love with the journey, fall in love with the process, because once you hit that goal, you're gonna be like, oh wow, well, probably wasn't, it wasn't that, it was pretty hard, it was challenging, but now I'm here, what's next? Always fall in love with what you're doing. And you have this knowing when you're doing something that you love to do and you know is for you. Don't let anyone take that away from you. Don't let the outside noise take that away from you. And the late Virgil Abloh, I loved his interview with Naomi Campbell. And she was like, how did you get in this position? He was like, I dreamed it. And you can do anything. If God puts the vision in your mind, that means that it's a possibility of it becoming a reality. But it's all upon you putting in that work and keeping that faith and being consistent and being true to yourself. So you got this.
I love it. Beautiful answer. I think a lot of people are going to hear that, and that's what they needed to hear. Like they've been waiting for a sign. And I think your message will just be like confirmation that as long as they're putting in the work, it's on the way. But yeah, it's important to just continue to dream about what you want and just to do the work, and it'll all come to you. And I think your journey is literally proof of that. Just hearing all about college to where you are now, it's amazing just to see where you're at. And I think all that's out there for you still. So congrats on your journey. You've done amazing things, and we're so excited just to see where you keep going, and your future is bright. So love your energy. Loved having you on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I was literally going to say, I love your energy. So I'm happy you like my energy too. But no, thank you so much. So much more to come. Always things to do. So just so thankful for giving me this opportunity to speak to everyone.
Absolutely. Love it. Well, thank you so much. I want to thank you for joining us today and tuning in to another episode of HBCU in Entertainment. If this episode resonated with you, please comment, rate, and review the podcast. Your feedback means the world. Until next time, we appreciate you for lending us your ears. Catch you in the next episode.